Do you know anyone that complains all the time and acts like they always get the short end of that stick? Would that person be you? Hi, I'm Gina. Here at Hope and Cope, we talk about the essential skills we need in order to live our best life in spite of painful and sometimes even tragic life situations. Today we're going to talk about the victim crutch is a form of pride. I know that when we live with extreme hardships like mental illness or addiction with a loved one or family member, I know that it makes our lives really, really challenging. And it's hard to not just see everything that's wrong with our life and not be able to see that other people have a hard life. It's hard to not judge and feel like other people have it so much better than we do. No one knows. I'm so isolated. No one could walk a mile in my shoes. I've got it worse than anyone else. And then we try to minimize other people's problems. If we do know about them, we dismiss them out of hand and say they're nothing compared to mine. And we feel resentful toward other people if they have a good life or if they are being victorious in their situation. We can be resentful, we can be jealous. I know I've probably lost some of you by now, but I am just going to let you know that in my mind, when we are going through a really hard time and we get so consumed about ourselves and we have so much self-pity and we can only have sympathy for ourselves, that it is a form of pride. It might seem impossible for it to be pride because we say, how could it be pride when my life is crumbling? How could it be pride when I have lost everything? How can it be pride when everything is falling apart in my world? But the truth is, when we're so self-consumed and we can't make room for other people, we can't make room for their sorrows or their problems, nothing else measures up to ours. Everybody else has it easier. We're categorized in the worst case and everybody else has it better than us. Or when people have joys, we're angry because they have the nerve to pursue happiness without us. They have the nerve to be happy without us. They have the nerve to live their life in spite of our tragedies, and we get resentful about that. Then that is a form of just selfishness. Maybe I shouldn't have said pride as much as just selfishness, self-centeredness. So that's where it's kind of overlapping with that pride, because we can only think of ourselves and we don't have the capacity to think outside of our lives and to be happy with those that we love and rejoice with those that we love and actually grieve with other people, put our sorrows aside and actually be able to sympathize with other people. Maybe their situation isn't near as hard as ours, but it's hard on them. It's really, really hard on them. And that's what matters. They need a loving touch. They need someone to care. They need someone to wrap their arms around instead of it be like, you can't count on me because my situation's worse than yours. And so it's just a form of like comparison, cruel comparison, because we have it so hard. And trust me, there were times that it was like, I don't know anybody else in as hard a boat as I am in. I don't know anybody else that's struggling with what I'm struggling with. But what I realized is, this was back when I worked a public job and I worked around 100 other people. Once in a while you'd find out so-and-so's husband committed suicide, or so-and-so's child did this or that or the other, or so-and-so's battling this terrible disease, or so-and-so lost a child to this disease. And you're like, you know what? Everybody has a hard life. Everybody is facing some terrible struggle, and maybe not right at the moment that you are, but they are facing it, and they're all just trying to be brave, make it the best they can through each and every day, and they're all struggling the same. And so if I can put my sorrows aside, put my self-pity badge aside, my pity party aside and think of someone else, then I can bring joy to someone else's life, and I can, through that, make my life better. Now, I know sometimes it's hard because I had a couple people that really felt sorry for me. I had a couple people that they would have thrown me that pity party, that they would have been happy to sit and be in sorrow with me. Now, trust me, if I'd have wanted to do that too long, they'd have probably wanted to leave the party early. But because it's no fun living with somebody that lives in constant self-pity, but I didn't really want that. I did for a while. I wanted it. I needed it. I felt like it helped me, but I learned really quickly that it didn't help me. It wasn't making my life situation any better. And so I tried to rise above my problems, think of other people, focus on other people, their joys, their sorrows, their whole lives. Just how are the kids? That baby's really growing. Just being a present part into the people's lives that I loved, and not focus on my own traumas so severely. And it really did help me to not have so much self-pity. I can speak about this on a personal level because I have been there. I have been the person so consumed with my own problems that I couldn't see anyone else's life. Thankfully, it was just a stage, and I didn't put down roots there and just decide to build a home there and live in that constant state of self-pity and self-absorption. I didn't like resenting my friends. I didn't like resenting my family. I didn't like begrudging people being happy or moving on or having joy or going on vacations. And God forbid the couples that were happy, the couples that were celebrating anniversaries and going on cruises and doing these coupley things. It just was so hard on my self-pity. And so I really decided I can't be this person. I can't dread other people's joy. I can't love people and be a good friend and hate when they're happy. And so I just had to force myself to get out of my own self-pity and try my best to join humanity and to be happy about what I could be happy about and rejoice in what I could be rejoicing about, and to dive into the things that were happy about other people's lives and do my best to not live in self-pity. I want to encourage you that you can be a victorious victim, even though your life is hard, and even though there are tragic circumstances and they are heartbreaking and they are pitiful. It does us no good to live in a state of self-pity. So do your best to break that cycle, that mental cycle of how you think about, I've got it worse than everybody else. No one knows what I'm going through. I'm so isolated. No one could walk a mile in my shoes. This one's happy. This one's happy. This one's happy. Why can I not be happy? And why don't they want to come and rescue me? Don't they see my distress? Try your best to have a victorious victim attitude. Yes, you might be truly victimized, but what does it help to live in a state of self-pity? That's where we have no power. That's where we are drained, and we can't rise above anything in a state of self-pity. I'm not going to tell you it's easy to overcome self-pity, and something that's kind of hard about it. When you overcome self-pity and you really do bring your best face forward and you live with joy and you're involved in people's lives, on the surface, it looks to people like you're just really managing well, and that this isn't hurting you and this isn't bothering you and you're doing great. And to an extent you are, but it's still all the distress, all the pain, all of the challenge is still there. And so it does make people quit looking at you like a victim. And so then you don't get the pity that you would have if you were walking around sad and depressed and crying all the time and not being able to hold it together and not being able to go to work and not being able to show up for things and just living on the edge of collapse all the time. Yeah, people are truly concerned about those people, and for good reason. But you won't get the self-pity. You won't get the pity, and you might not even get the concern, But I would rather just have a couple people that I talk to about my genuine struggles and where I am in my heart and what I'm going through, and this latest thing that just broke my heart and disappointed me again. I'd rather have one or two people that kind of know they're on the inside, and not have to bring that to every moment of my life, not have to bring that to every event and with every friendship and every conversation. Have you been around that person that just every conversation that they have is negative? Every conversation that they have to bring up awful personal things that are going on in their life. It's so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. Have you ever just gone up to the counter to order a hamburger and the person behind the counter is wanting to tell you their life story? I mean, it's really uncomfortable, and you feel sad for those people. Like, if they don't have any better person to talk to than the person on the other side of this transaction, that is sad. So I know that it's easy in some regards to throw yourself the constant pity party, but in other ways, it's so much more liberating to live a life of victory and to show your strength and to live in that constant state of, I am victorious over my circumstances. And as long as God is on my side, as long as He loves me, He's for me, and He'll never leave me or forsake me, I can endure any circumstances that arise in my life. I hope this topic was helpful. I hope that if you've had a pity party, that you'll realize that it's time for everybody to go home and shut it down and try a different path. I think you'll be happier. I don't think you'll be sorry, and I know your friends and family won't be. And if you liked this video, I'd like for you to hit the thumbs up button. This might be a tough one to share, I don't know, but if you can think of someone that would appreciate it, I would love if you would share it with a friend. And check out the description box, where I always try to add a little something extra for you. And I post on Sundays, so be looking for new content. And I'm always praying for the people that watch my videos. I love you, and until next time, God bless.